Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Gavin Sandell. A prolonged lack of rain has allowed for severe drought to set into our area. On Friday I mentioned the what and the why we got here, but today I'm going to explain the how with a background on the organization that issues these maps in the first place. And that organization is the U.S. Drought Monitor, formed in 1999, and every single week it comes up with a nationwide map detailing drought and agricultural impacts across the country. And this is something that it does every single week. It takes the evidence from Tuesday to go into a map that releases every Thursday morning at 8:30. So here's a look at what it kind of takes in the evidence of what it looks at. Obviously, number one is precipitation departures, and they're looking at if a certain amount of rain fell over a certain amount of time. If you had less rain over a certain month span, then you have a greater chance of having drought in the area. That's just an obvious one. But also they look at soil dynamics as well. Soil moisture, that plays well for agricultural reasons as well. They look at sunshine as well, waterways and temperatures, because if you have warmer temperatures or higher temperatures, then that could dry out the ground much quicker. But they don't just look at things on the surface. They also look at different indices and analogs as well. And I'll talk about a couple here. We're going to start with soil moisture, which I did remark on before. And you could see if the soil is drier in a given area, then you're going to have a higher likelihood of drought. So look at northeast Ohio and western Pennsylvania there. Their soil moisture is very low, which means the ground is very dry. That's a very easy analog for drought. Look at this one again, the SPI. This is the standard precipitation index over the last 2 months. And if you have a negative number or more reddish color, that means that you have a higher chance of drought or higher likelihood. Across our area, that is very well into the negatives. And I'll talk about another one as well. This is the EDI, the Evaporative Demand Drought Index, and something that kind of factors in the thirstiness of the atmosphere, how much evaporation the atmosphere is trying to take in from the ground. If you have a positive number, then that's another indicator of drought, and it's very good at picking up flash drought situations. Ohio is again in another bullseye, specifically centered on Columbiana County. So what they do with all of this, they put it together and they come up with certain categories of drought. And there's 5 apart from just the standard no drought. Abnormally dry, that's your D0, and that doesn't quite mean you have drought yet. But once you get to moderate drought, D1, which is in Columbiana County right now, that's when you start seeing the negative effects. It goes up to severe, extreme, and then in dire cases, exceptional. So let's take a little further look into what this means. When you're abnormally dry, again, not quite in drought, you can have kind of stunned crops and your lawns can get a little brown, but it isn't until you get to moderate drought, once you see trees and landscapings get stressed, wildfire risks increase. Once you get to severe drought, that D2 category, now you have hydrologic impacts, the creeks dry, the river levels go down, water quality degrades, and then now you're starting to get to the everyday impacts with extreme and exceptional drought, that D3 and D4, financial impacts for severe drought, and then area-wide water use restrictions and an extreme amount of wildfire risk in those areas. So I'll take a final look at the Drought Monitor map behind me, and you can see that D2 severe across much of Columbiana County, which I do expect to expand in size once we get to Thursday's release. For Weather 101, I'm Gavin Sandell.